You mentioned something about how there was a moment that you enlightened almost about mission mobilization. And there was this thing called the Perspectives course you took. Can you tell us more about what God did through the Perspectives course and maybe even some of your involvement in that after that?
Yeah, I mean, really, I thought at one point, I think you were similar, Paul, where how many people you led to Christ, how many people you baptized, that was somehow the measure of how many people would come to your weekly meeting, how many small groups have you started, that those were somehow the measurements of success. And so we had 800 students coming to our weekly meetings. We had I don't know, small groups all over the campus. It was just, it was engulfing that campus. And I was just praising God for that. I thought, pat myself on the back, man, isn't this a great, successful ministry, And, pride comes before the fall, right? No, but then I realized, as a student, that it wasn't just evangelism, it was discipling. And so I put a huge emphasis on that. And so it was all about how many disciples you made and how many disciples that your disciples made. And so it was all about spiritual reproduction, spiritual multiplication. That's our success. That's the highest measure of success. Well, I had a guy, I'll say his name, Bob Sjogren, an old friend of mine that was with a mission agency called Frontiers. Yeah. And they had a little van. It was a precursor to the traveling team. They had a van. They were going around campus to campus and sharing this missions talk, this missions vision about God's heart for the nations from Genesis to Revelation. He kept calling me. He'd heard about our college ministry, and we have all these calls, as you might imagine. Can we come talk to your group about this subject and this cause? And I always kind of smile and say, well, we've got that under control. Thank you, And so I put him off, and finally he came, and just to humor him, really, I didn't need to hear what he had to say, and certainly my students, my warriors for Christ students, didn't need to hear what he had to say. And so I sat on the back row arrogantly with my arms crossed, just to kind of check his theology out to make I wanted to protect the sheep from the wolves here, or something.
Yeah.
No, but at the end of 30 minutes, Paul, my life was turned upside down. He went from Genesis to Revelation, and I had never heard that there's this golden thread, there's this global thread throughout the Bible of God's heart for all the nations. I mean, Charles Ryrie, the one who wrote the Ryrie Study Bible, I mean, he never mentioned this in any of my classes in seminary. I hadn't heard this preached from the pulpit before. And so I was a little more teachable after that. And so I took him to breakfast the next morning, and Bob, I need to learn. I need to grow. I've been prideful. I've been arrogant. What am I missing here? He says, Steve, I'll tell you what. Take your wife, take your daughter. I had a 9-month-old daughter at that time out to Pasadena, California. There's this place out there called the U.S. Center for World Mission. Take this course, this intensive course. It was a 4-week course, and they did a 1-week course on how to facilitate the course yourself. And so I took my wife out there, and Paul, my life was really turned upside down. In the mornings, we were listening to these speakers from around the world about the biblical, historical, cultural, strategic dimensions of this world Christian movement. In the afternoons, I was reading these articles in this book that I had never read before. And I just got so excited. I got so motivated. That's where we came up even with the name Student Mobilization. Yeah. That I realized that's what we're trying to do. I could not wait to get back to Fayetteville to put this into practice, because we had been strong in E, we'd been strong in D, evangelism and disciple making, but the missing ingredient, the thing that connects all the dots, is the M. That we need to view our campus as a sending base, as a launching pad. And what Christian leader was it that says, don't measure your success by your seating capacity, but by your sending capacity? And so really that became one of our major, measures of success is how many people can we launch out into the world to be world changers, evangelists and disciplers and mobilizers themselves. So that M arrived very powerfully in my life, and it's been a giant pillar for 35 years now. So.
Wow, I love that. Yeah, I love the idea of going to the campus. When we step onto campus, we're not just trying to reach and disciple students, which we are, but we are raising up the next generation of missionaries and world Christians and senders to send those missionaries. And so we have a heart for the campus that God has called us to. But for me personally, I step on to Chico State with such a sense of destiny that we're here not just to reach Chico State, we're here to reach the unreached. Yeah. Like, I care about the lost fraternity bro at Chico State, but I also care about this person in the unreached people group that'll live and die and never hear about Christ. And so how can what we do here influence and impact what's happening there in the 1040 window and other places like that?